yoga's, every breath we take when we are in our practice is doing something profound for us on an individual level, but also for the collective. Okay, so don't take it lightly when you show up and you do the work and you get the breath moving. It's making an impact. And to kind of go further into that, I was listening to Guru Jagat this morning, and this was back in 2020, I think. And she was talking about how there's two different agendas going on right now in the world, right? So there's obviously the agenda of the people who are hungry for power and money, and we see this happening. But there's also this agenda of lightness and change and evolution that is happening, right? And so she said it's through the vibration of the practice that we get to decide which agenda we're going to get behind and support. Okay, so even if you don't support this more darker agenda, but you're so consumed by the information and you have a constant day of anxiety and news scrolling and, you know, chattering back and forth with people, unfortunately, this is the agenda that we are going to be lending our energy towards. And I've been reminded by a lot of you students on here in the last little while to watch where I'm putting my energy. And so Guru Jagat said, the really cool thing about this agenda, this lighter energy agenda, is it is all being driven by love and community and this like coming together. So she says, whether you're practicing in a large group or you're practicing or in your home by yourself, you tap into that energy source and you put your energy in that way, and we are shifting this agenda and making it more strong, more powerful. Okay. She says, I don't know what agenda is going to take over, what's going to win, but we are here for a reason. And if this one unfortunately does win, then our powers will come and they'll start to shift it again. Okay. So don't, I know I've been talking about this a lot lately, but it's important. It's really important right now, and good reminders for all of us. All right. Fantastic. We are going to start on our back. We're going to do the full back body sequence today. Get really deep into it, maybe moving a little quicker so we can get the full thing done in the time that we have together, in the short time we have together. Beautiful. So we are laying flat onto the back. All you need today is your mat block, maybe some water. Good. And just for a moment, let your hands come onto the mat beside you, palms face up toward the sky. Let your feet flop out to the side like we do in Shavasana. Connect the breath down into the belly 3 times. Relaxing with each exhale. And with your third one, we're slowly going to bring our feet up and over behind us for Halasana. So be very mindful with this posture. It is quite intense for the first posture. Hands onto the lower back, or if your toes meet the ground, they can interlace and come down onto the mat. So these first few prep postures are very important for starting to tap into the back of the body on all levels. And when they are done properly with correct breath, it'll shift your entire practice because you'll have a little more of a subtle connection to the lines in the body. Good. From here, we're going to start to roll out and come all the way onto our seat. Good. Take your legs straight out in front of you and right away come into a forward fold. So moving now the opposite direction. Reaching for your shins, your toes, wrapping your hands around your feet wherever you land is perfect. Now drop your gaze so you also connect to the back of the neck here. The thoracic spine moving all the way up. Beautiful. With your inhale, let's rise up. Spread your feet. Heels grounding down. Your legs don't need to be quite as wide as we normally go. You're going to walk your hands out in front of you, flip your palms up towards the sky, and bring your pinky fingers to touch as you fold deep here. Again, drop the neck, drop your gaze. For these first few postures, eyes can be open or closed. Sometimes closing our eyes more in the beginning just helps us come a little more inward. Let's release. Walk your hands back. We're going to bring our feet together, knees up towards the sky. Good. Feet are out hip distance apart. Your hands come back behind you, fingertips pointing towards the top of your mat. With your inhale, you're going to push into your hands and your feet, lifting your pelvis up towards the sky. Drop your gaze back. We're just going to hold here. So root down strongly, find a little more of a lift. Engage to the back of the body. Good. And then let's release. Good. We're going to come all the way forward. You can cross your ankles if you need to, or just rock forward into a nice forward fold. Hanging out over your legs. Release the neck. So just those first few postures have a profound impact on the spine and how the body is now starting to wake up, becoming more and more sensitive to the communication between the breath and the mind. The breath and the body. Okay, let's roll up through the spine. Coming to stand at the top of your mat, big toes together, heels slightly apart. We'll move through a couple of vinyasas. Inhale, bring your arms up towards the sky, lengthen, reach out of the body. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, gaze up. Good. Plant your hands, jump or step back into high plank. Lower, Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows by your side. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bringing your gaze forward, you're going to step your right foot in between your hands. Both legs are straight, and we just take a forward fold over this right leg. You're going to walk your hands back, flip your palms so your wrists are pointing towards the top of your mat, and bend over this front leg. We're just here for one more breath. Good. And then walk your hands back forward. You're going to step your back foot back slightly and come up into Virabhadrasana A. Back heel is grounded. We're sinking into this front knee. Beautiful. One more inhale. Exhale, hands come down. Good. Shift your weight back into downward facing dog. And switching sides. Inhale, step your left foot in between your hands. Both legs are straight. We're going to fold forward, walk your hands to the center of the mat, flip your palms, bow inward toward that left leg. Good. Walk your hands back forward. You're going to step your right foot back a little bit longer and inhale, rise, warrior one. Pull your shoulders away from your ears, lengthen from the fingertips. One more breath. Good. Exhale, hands come down. Let's step back into high plank. Lower Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows by your side. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We find the hands, we find the feet right away. This is your immediate response to downward facing dog, is to ground in, find length, and connect back to your breath. Good. Let's bring your gaze to the top of the mat. Jump or step forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise together. And Samastiti. Good. One more just like that. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, gaze up. Hands come down, jump or step back, high plank. Continue to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Gaze forward, step your right foot in between your hands. Straighten both legs. Take your hands, walk them to the center, flip your wrists around, and fold forward. Good. Walk your hands back, flip them the opposite direction. Take a wider stance with that left foot and rise up, Virabhadrasana A. So we're smooth, we're fluid here. We find length and strength. Good, hands come down. Step back, downward facing dog. Last side. Inhale, step your left foot in between your hands. Straighten both legs. Walk your hands to the center. Flip your palms. Fold forward. Good. Walk your hands back to the front of the mat. Step your right foot back and rise up. Warrior one. The abs are tight here. The legs are strong. And then we soften from the shoulders up. Shoulders, jaw, forehead. Beautiful. Hands come down. Flowing through our vinyasa. And we'll meet into downward facing dog. Good. 4 breaths here. With our inhale, gaze forward. Jumper step your feet to your hands. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And SATTVA, arms by your side. Beautiful. Take a step back with your right foot. We're facing the long edge of the mat. Turn your toes out. Inhale, lengthen through the chest. And exhale, fold forward. Your hands are going to come to the center of the mat or onto blocks. And you're going to fold nice and deep, bringing your forehead as close to the ground as possible. Now, for most of us, probably our weight is in the heels. So let's rock forward a little bit into the toes so we can spread through the tailbone area. So spread through the sit bone, lengthen a little more, reach the head. Good. Inhale, gaze up. Take your right hand to the very center of your mat. Inhale, left arm up towards the sky, twisting through the spine. Gaze can follow up towards the left fingertips. Talking more and more about drishti, so where our gaze goes is going to be increasingly important in our practice. Is that up at your fingertips or at the tip of your nose? Good. Left hand comes down. Let's switch sides. Left hand down, right arm up. Watch your gaze. The gaze should have intention behind it. Good. Top arm comes down. Take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers, and once again, fold forward. Bring your hands away from the body and closer down to the mat. Rock forward into your toes and expand through the back of the body. Good. Find your feet. Inhale to rise. Keep your hands where they are. Pull your hands away from the body. Good. And then let's release. Come to face the top of your mat into SATTVA. Good. Vinyasa. Inhale, rise up with your arms. Exhale, we fold forward. Inhale, gaze up. Hands come down. Jumper step back, high plank. Lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing duck. Exhale, downward facing duck. Okay, from here, bring your gaze forward, step your right foot in between your hands. You're going to spin and drop your back heel to the mat and rise up, hands in front of the chest into prayer. Good. From here, you're going to connect left elbow to right knee. If this is way too challenging, go ahead, spin your back heel up towards the sky for a little more space. So a few options there. Good. Keep rooting your hands together so you feel this length and lift off of that right thigh. Beautiful. Good, Erin. Good. Now to release, take your right fingertips either to the outside edge of the right foot and left arm reaches across your ear, or to blocks, or it can come up onto your knee with this right elbow. So lots of options here. Yeah. Beautiful. Good. And inhale, let's rise up. Warrior two, just here for 3 breaths. So sink in. Do not be afraid of the heat and a little bit of work in the body. Good. Let's windmill our arms back down onto the mat, surrounding your right foot, and step back, downward facing dog. And switching sides. Inhale, step your left foot in between your hands. If you did on the other side, go ahead, drop your back heel, rise up, hands in front of your chest, and come into your twist. Right elbow to your left knee. Now, all of us could sink a little bit deeper into that left knee, and all of us could find a tiny more lift by pushing stronger into the hand. Yeah, beautiful. Good adjustments. Okay, let's open the posture up the opposite direction. So left hand to the outside edge of your left foot, right arm reaches, or left elbow onto your left knee. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Lengthen through the crown of the head. 2 more breaths. Good. Inhale, let's rise up. Warrior two. Sink into that front knee. Relax your shoulders. Expand the fingertips. 2 more breaths. Good. And then with your next exhale, let's windmill our arms down to the mat. Flow through vinyasa, stepping back into high plank. Lower chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay. Let's bring your gaze forward. Jump or step your feet in between your hands. And then let's land with our feet about hip distance apart, taking a moment to fold forward nice and deep here. Either grabbing onto your big toe with thumb and peace finger, or wrapping your hands behind your legs. Now, if you have a hold of your big toes, I want your elbows to come wide out to the side as you then pull your shoulder blades onto your back. Very good. Good. Let's slowly release our hands. You can heel toe your feet a little bit closer together. Inhale, gaze up, lengthen through the spine. Plant your hands, jump or step back into high plank. Lower chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, then we're going to start to shift into Kapotasana or pigeon. So inhale, bring your right shin behind your right wrist crease. We're going to drop down. Untuck your back toes. Stay high up onto your fingertips. Good. Now we're going to work a twist, either just by walking our hands off the right edge of our mat, or you can drop down onto your left elbow, hands into prayer. So a few options, just varying degrees of that twist into the spine. So a lot more mat work in this sequence, which means the mind will tend to wander on us, right? So we know this by now, but always good reminders to draw ourselves back into the rhythm of the breath and become really curious observers of what is happening in the body, right? So watch the different sensations, the movement constantly with every inhale and exhale. Good, let's come back through center. Hands come down onto the mat. You're going to tuck your back toes and you're going to lift your back knee. Now, we're pushing strong into the hands, and then watch my spine. You want to curl here and push into that upper back. Draw your belly button towards your spine. So it may not look active, but it should feel really challenging in the body. A lot of strength here happening. Take a couple more deep breaths. Good. One more inhale. And then with your exhale, let's step back, downward facing dog. Step your right foot back. And then again, we're going to shift that right foot forward, coming into our split. So step your right foot in between your hands. And right away, glide yourself into half splits or full splits. So half is going to look like this. And full, use blocks, use pillows. Good. Wherever you land. This is always a humbling posture. Yeah, I know. I'm there with you. Every day I'm like, man, I'm not further in this posture yet. No, sometimes much worse. Good. So can we soften around it, right? Does it really matter? No, it's just our mind playing games with us. The important thing is how we can soften the mind around the posture, right? You can either stay exactly where you are for the last 3 breaths. You can fold forward, just depending on the level of intensity you can maintain with that breath. Beautiful. Come back up onto the hands and shift your weight back into downward facing dog. If you can, lifting that right foot all the way through. Good, and then we'll move into kapota on the left. So pigeon on the left. Left shin comes forward. To start, untuck your toes. And then you find your depth of twist. So again, either walking your hands off the left edge of your mat or dropping down onto your right elbow. Hands into prayer. Beautiful. So the motivation to land onto our mat and do the work and constantly show up has to do with our commitment and connection to that breath. This is what inspires the practice. So when we get those little glimmers of excitement in the practice, when we feel a bit of relief, we feel space. This is what I'm talking to with the inspiration being driven by the breath. Good. Land back up onto your hands, coming back through center. Good. Tuck your back toes. Same thing here. We're going to lift our knee. And then once again, push into your hands. Draw your belly button towards your spine and curl here. Try and make that curl as dramatic as possible. Gaze is down towards the mat. Everything is working strongly here to find the back of the body. The leg, the knee is lifting strongly. The core, the hands, the shoulders. One more breath. Good. And with your exhale, move back into downward facing dog, lifting that left foot back. Good. And then splits on the left. So inhale, step your left foot in between your hands. Set up your splits. Good. I know. Some of those postures are a little tricky to get into. So once we land there, if you need a moment to settle back in, close your eyes, take a couple deep breaths. Notice the sensation under your feet. And then notice the sensation at your fingertips. Good. For the last few breaths, if you did so on the other side, you can fold forward. Beautiful. Let's make our way out into high plank. So moving your props, lifting that left foot through. Good. Pausing at the top of your high plank, and then lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Gaze comes forward. Let's jump all the way through onto our seat. Taking your legs straight out in front of you. Good. Now, again, you guys know the options by now, but I'll just remind you, we're going to tuck our right heel back behind us. Okay, if this is too much on the knee, then bring your right foot to the inside edge of this left leg. Okay, now step one is to start to either, if this is hard to sit up, we're just working this right hip down onto the mat. Okay, next step is to take a bent knee and left foot onto the mat, and we might just work here then, sit up nice and tall. Okay, and then the next stage is to grab onto this left foot and possibly straighten it. So lots of options. If when you straighten you're all wonky, right, and really like off to the side, then just back out a little bit, maybe bend your knee. Inspire your posture with a little more pressure. So if you have your legs straight, push your foot into your hands. Good. Let's gently release that left leg back down onto the mat. And then let's take a wider stance here. So opening the right knee to the side or your foot, okay? And then sliding your left hand towards your left foot, right arm up and over. Without collapsing into the left side of the body, we still want integrity and length along there. So with the proper alignment, less energy is needed to hold you in your postures. And then more energy is allowed to rest into the magic behind the practice, those subtle sensations. So that is why we focus so much on alignment. Good. Inhale to rise. Bring your right knee back toward the top of your mat. Okay, and then we'll twist. Bring your left foot to the inside edge of your right leg or on top of your right thigh. Good. Right hand onto your left knee. Left fingertips back behind you, and we twist. Sit up tall, and then we twist again. And we'll hold here for a few breaths. Good. Let's bring our gaze back through center. Straighten your legs. Give them a little wiggle if you need. And then we will switch sides. Good. Go ahead. Take that left foot back behind you, more to the inside edge. And then find your variation here. So try to balance what you did on the other side. Okay. So if you grab a hold of your right foot, Stevie, face the center to start. Yeah, come back into this posture first. You got it. Beautiful. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Bring your gaze up for this posture, no matter what stage you're in. And bring your focus to either the tip of the nose again or in between your eyebrows. Good. Let's release your right foot down onto the mat. Go ahead, take a wider stance here, opening up your legs. Good. Then take your right hand towards your right toes, left arm up and over. So how much can you push down into that left cheek as you reach your left fingertips in the opposite direction? Yeah, good, Robin. That's it. Good. Inhale to rise. Draw your left knee so it points back to the front of the room. And then we'll move into our twist. Right foot to the inside edge of your left leg or on top of your thigh. Good. Left hand onto your right knee, right fingertips back behind you. First, find your depth with the twist. Then push down to the sit bone, sit up a little bit taller, and then twist again. Good. Let's come back through center. Take your legs out in front of you. Give them a quick little shake. Then we'll take another half vinyasa. So crossing the ankles, draw them in. Let's rock forward. Jump or step back into high plank. Lower chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay. You are going to jump your knees in between your hands and bring your torso up nice and tall. Good. 2 camel postures today, 1 prep posture, and then 1 full if it's in your practice. So hands onto the lower back, tops of the feet onto the mat, or if you're having a hard time reaching your heels, tuck your toes and it'll just bring them up a little higher. Good. Start to shift your pelvis forward. First one, hands are going to stay onto the lower back. Bring your gaze up and back. Push your pelvis forward. Now come out of the lower back by lifting the chest up towards the sky. That's it. Good. Inhale to rise. Sitting back onto your heels if that feels okay, and curl the spine. Good. And second set, we rise. Now you can either do the exact same posture that we just worked on, or you can reach for your heels. Come into second camel. Breathe into that chest. Feel your rib cage expanding, your stomach. Good. Inhale to come back up. One last time, sit back onto your heels, curl. Good. And then let's release, and we're going to stand up onto our feet. So right foot first, left foot second. Use hands or support if you need it. Beautiful. Good. And then we'll come into our flowing standing back bends, okay, which you guys know well. Bend your knees. Shift your pelvis forward. Your legs start to straighten, gaze back. And then rise back up. And you find your flow, right? And just continue to move with the posture. Inhale to rise. And we go again. Good. Maybe exploring a little deeper territory each time, trusting the strength in the body. Good. You have 2 left. Last one. Good. Let's release, hands by your side. Let's bring our toes back together, heels slightly apart. Last vinyasa of the practice. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, flow or fold forward. Inhale, gaze up. Plant your hands, jump or step back into high plank. Lower chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Gaze forward, jump all the way through onto your seat. Lay flat onto your back, setting up for your back bend. So knees up towards the sky. Feet flat onto the mat. Good. So you find the posture for you. Try to push yourself a little bit. We're just here for 1 back bend with a little bit of a longer hold. So inhale to rise. Good. Lots of pressure into the hands and the feet if you're in your full wheel. We're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Tuck your chin. Come to lay flat onto your back. Draw your knees into your chest and take a couple deep breaths here. Arms can wrap around. Good. Open your arms to the side. Drop both knees over to the right, gaze to the left. Twist. Send that deep breath down into the belly. You want to hold on to the rhythm and the pace of the practice right up until Shavasana. Each part of this sequence has a very important part to play, but it needs the breath fueled behind it for us to get the full benefits. Good. Inhale back up through center. Let's switch sides. Remember, it was like my teacher said yesterday, every breath plays into creating more vitality, more health in each cell in the body. Good. Let's draw our knees back through center. We're going to set for shoulder stand, so Lamba Sarvangasana, so legs up towards the sky. If you want more of a restorative posture, just place a block underneath your sit bones. If you're doing the full one, let's lift our feet up, hands walk down the spine as far as you can, bringing your chest to your chin, and then shifting your feet to more of the top of the mat. Steady breath. Good. Drop your toes behind your head for Halasana. Notice how your body feels now. This was the very first posture we started with, and it'll be the very last one of the sequence. So watch how the body has responded through this entire time together. Guys, very gently roll out through the posture, landing flat onto the back into Shavasana. Take a couple steady deep breaths. Watch where initially you have to send a little bit of a reminder into the body because you're still holding on to tension. And then we just recognize, we soften, and we watch what is happening in the body. And start to bring full deep breaths back into the body. When you're ready, knees into your chest. Eventually rolling onto the right side of the body, and in your own time, finding your comfortable seat at the top of your mat. Okay, let's flip our palms up towards the sky. Thumb and first finger touch. Jani Mudra. Good, and we're just coming into some nice steady deep breaths here. So, Samavriti, equal balanced breath. In and out through the nose, that's all the breath is. It is steady and rhythmic, and it matches. So your inhale matches your exhale in length and pressure. And then we're holding at the top of the inhale for about a count of 3 to 6, and then holding at the bottom of the exhale for a count of 3 or 6. Okay, so you find your breath. We're not here for too long. But when you think of this breath, you really want to think about everything balancing itself out in the body, and then everything becoming coherent so that the communication is clear between everything, right? Your mind and your body, your heart and your mind, everything is working for the same goal or towards that same goal. Good, do one more. When you're done, that last one, just soften the breath back into your natural rhythm. And out through the nose. Ensure that your spine is nice and tall. So we shift into a very short meditation. Shoulders draping down the back, jaw soft. And then just very simply drop your chin towards your chest. Doesn't have to touch, but just in that general direction so that we have this one long line from tailbone through tip of the head. And one of the simplest ways to get into our meditation is to just notice the sounds around you. And as quickly as those sounds come and go, we want to approach our thoughts in the same manner, watching them come and go. Every inhale, we feel the expansion. And every exhale, we feel the contraction. And it really only takes 1 minute to dive deeper into a state of connection, depth, and into our meditation. And as you find this stillness, let's start to bring a couple deep breaths back into the body. Make these breaths worth your while. Make sure they're deep, they're connected, they're conscious. And with your last one, let's bring our hands in front of heart center. Once again, bringing your chin towards your chest. Feeling this honor for the body, the mind, and the breath today throughout our practice, and for the community practicing together. Thank you very much. Namaste. Good. Beautiful work.